Hey guys, ignore the rain. I apologize if you can hear it. If you can't hear the rain, then this mic right here that is still on after an hour, get some good life out of it. It's doing great. Anyways, I am here to review this documentary right here. Bray Wyatt becoming immortal. Now, this is more for your wrestling fans. If you're not a wrestling fan, then you're probably not going to want to watch this. Bray Wyatt sadly passed away August 24th of 2023 due to a heart attack. Um, the whole documentary pretty much documents, his whole life, from him, how he was as a kid, wanting to play football, getting into the wrestling business, um, you know, recreating himself several times, his character. I know some of you guys think wrestling's fake, but it ain't fake. It's choreographed combat, you know, with an outcome that's predetermined. But it's not fake. People do get injured while doing it. But just because it's choreographed, Bachelor's fake. If you don't think it isn't, I don't tell you. Most reality shows are fake. Um, the movies we watch, fake. Every movie I review, fake. Even if it's based off a true story, this is actually legit. You know what I'm saying? The sad part is he was 36. I'm going to be 36 this year. Um, Still had a whole life to give. Very, very smart thinker, genius in the wrestling business. Very creative person. I'm not into horror and stuff. I think that's what he was into. Obviously, some of the characters he brought into TV are toned down horror, so I can, be okay with that. Um, but it's just really sad just to hear, you know, how his family, his kids are suffering because his parents, his brother and sister, you know, it sucks when someone you love die, and then, he was beloved by a lot of wrestling fans, his work as Bray Wyatt, um, was, was amazing, you know, even so he was let go from WWE, I think in 2022, I believe. Um, and he returned, or was it 2021? One of those two. He returned in 2022. Um, he returned. Yeah, he returned in 2022. So he returned in 2022, and he. I think this run, if he didn't pass away, would probably have been some of the best work he's ever done in the wrestling business. I was looking forward to the things that he was going to do, um, because I appreciate his creative mind as a wrestling fan. Um, and even though people said he his wrestling wasn't too exciting, I didn't really care about that, to be honest with you. I just cared about his character, and he put work into his characters. Like, and he could do a backbend. He was a big dude. Like, he got a belly. Me and him he's probably a little taller than I am, but we probably built the same way. Belly, big shoulders, like, big arms, pretty much Bray Wyatt, but without the long hair because I can't grow long hair. Um, but I don't know. I just appreciate all his work, and the saddest part of this whole thing is hearing the day he died. It was just sad just to hear. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I was trying to put myself in like the family's shoes and how it would be. I would be devastated if my brother died, my mom died, anybody I love died. It would be devastating, especially so unexpected and young. Um, you know, and just to hear how hard he worked behind the scenes and how passionate he was about his craft, it was just so sad. 36 years old, and it put a like a it just let me know that life's yet too young. Life's too short. I could be dead tomorrow. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? I think this all started like at the beginning of 2023 or end of 2022. He got COVID and had a heart condition, and was actually getting ready to come back. Um, and you know what? Sometimes when people are, near death or whatever, and I've always noticed this with anybody I've ever spoke with, they always have that moment where they are normal for like a short period of time. So you're thinking, oh, they're fine. They're going to pull through. They've been struggling this whole time and all of a sudden they're fine. And you're like, wow, they're back to normal. And then they pass away. And I've always heard that. I've always seen that with either friends who've had family who've died, me who had family members die. You always, I've seen, especially my grandpa, I heard he was doing well. He was talking, walking. Next thing you know, he died. You know what I'm saying? Same with my stepdad. Um, and it's like they had all this trouble, and then they had this moment of normalcy, and then they just die. And I think, you know, I don't know what a lot of you guys believe in, don't believe in God, blah, blah, blah. But I think that's a way that God gives us that person back for that small moment of time, because he's getting ready to take them away. So you have that moment, say, hey, yeah, let's, you joke, you laugh. Um, I think that's what happened, with Bray. They, he was off and on, but then they had a moment where he seemed fine. Um, he had a heart attack while he was sleeping in bed. He had this vesting he was supposed to be wearing. I guess it was in his car. It's supposed to help him, like if his heart failed or whatever. That's neither here or there. Shouldn't be wearing it, blah, blah, blah. But, I really enjoyed it. I cried because it's sad, especially hearing what happened that day and that he passed away and how people reacted. And, you know, his brother is his brother's facial expressions were, he could say he's okay if if he wants to, but you could see on his face that his brother is also a wrestler as well. His name Bo Dallas, but his real name is Taylor Rotunda. But you could tell it hurt him, and I feel the same way if my older brother died as well. So if you guys haven't seen it, it's on Peacock. They dropped April 1st. Still there. It's really, really, really good. So as far as the documentary, I'd give this documentary an 8.8 out of 10. It did have some moments where they griped about how he was hard to work with, and I don't like stuff like that in documentaries where someone's passed away because they can't defend themselves. And I guess I'm assuming his wife or his fiance okayed everything. But I don't like when people say that stuff. When you're passionate about something, just because you're passionate doesn't make you hard to work with. People people tend to see the reaction instead of hearing the words, and that's like a pet peeve of mine. So, anyways, like I said, 8.8 out of 10, real, really good documentary. I have another documentary that's going to be controversial, but we'll talk about that another time. Peace.